We were discussing few aspects of statics, and now we are going to venture into dynamics. There is a sudden change in the course of teaching. We have introduced dynamics in between. That is because your midterm syllabus consists of what we are going to discuss in dynamics now. Are you with me, Arindam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us go ahead. Now we are going to we all know that dynamics is a branch of mechanics that deals with study of motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So it deals with study of motion of an object or motion of a body. Now, to understand this, we are going to ask ourselves few questions. Question number means I have written these questions in the reverse order. We are going to answer them from downside up order. So, what are the motion parameters? Is question number one that we are going to answer. Then, what affects motion parameters? Is the second question that we are going to answer. And third one is what is the cause of motion? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first question, what are the motion parameters that we typically are interested in? If you see a moving body, what is it that you are interested in? Tell me.
Sir, direction and magnitude.
Of what?
Direction of the motion
Okay.
first,
And
and
so
the
are
yes,
you
sir.
trying to tell me that we are interested in position of a object at given instant of time?
Yes, sir.
Are you with me? So at a given instant of time, say t, this t can be anything. So I am writing the motion parameter. What are the motion parameters? The first motion parameter that we are interested in is, I will tell you time t. Let us say time t equal to 5 seconds. You should tell me the position of the object at that time. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So typically we are, apart from Arindam, I want everyone else to keep themselves on mute. So we are interested in finding out the position of an object at a given instant of time t. This t can be anything. Mind you, it is not position multiplied by time. It is position as a function of time. So t is an argument here. Are you with me? It is argument of function called as position.
Yes, sir.
Are you with me? Okay. Now, what else are you
Yes, sir.
interested in? Are you interested only in position? Or you will also
Yes,
be
sir.
interested in velocity. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So at time instant t, what is the velocity of an object? This also interests us. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And typically you are also interested in knowing the acceleration. With me? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the three quantities which are termed as motion parameters. How do we denote them by standard notation? So the position of a particle or position of a body at given instant of time is denoted by S, letter S. And I'm going to call it as S of t. Mind you, it is not S into t, it is S of t. S is a function of t. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Function of t. Similarly, the velocity we denote it by small letter v as a function of time. Mind you, it is again not velocity into time, it is velocity as a function of time. So t is the argument. And acceleration we denote it by a small letter a, and it is a function of time. So I write it as a of t. So these are the three motion parameters that we are interested in typically. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think there is some issue, Arindam, at your side. You can mute. I will ask Apurva to unmute. Apurva, can you unmute?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Now, so position, velocity, and acceleration, these are the three motion parameters that we are interested in evaluating at various instances of time as the particle moves. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what do you think? what does affect motion parameters? ये तीनों पैरामीटर की वैल्यू चेंज करना. Mind you, all these three quantities are vector quantities. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Position is also a vector quantity. Velocity at time t is also a vector quantity, and acceleration is also a vector quantity. And we know for vector, in some sense, we need to understand its magnitude and its direction. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Direction can be further divided into many parts depending upon the quantity that you are studying, but it's all right. In crude sense, we need to have its magnitude and direction. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Having said that, now anything that changes either the magnitude or direction of any of these parameters should be of our concern. Do you agree with me? In dynamics.
Yes, sir.
Because in dynamics we are studying the motion. What does that mean? We are trying to evaluate motion parameters at given instant of time, and anything that changes the motion parameter is of our interest. Happy?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, next question that we are going to answer is, what are the quantities that affect motion parameters? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so to do that, we are going to write down Newton's second law. Can you tell me what is the representation of Newton's second law in linear motion along x direction? Algebraic sum of all the forces acting on a body in x direction must be equal to what? Tell me. Yes, Apurva.
Sir, summation of all the masses and
Ma-
acceleration.
there is only one object under consideration.
Sorry.
So algebraic sum of all the forces in x direction must be equal to mass into acceleration in x direction, provided mass is not dependent on time. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this acceleration, we call it as linear acceleration along x. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Along x. Okay. Now tell me, what does change the acceleration? Is acceleration a motion parameter? Yes.
Yes.
Trying to answer what does change acceleration. So acceleration change करने वाली quantity कौन सी है? तो जरा यहाँ पे ध्यान दो. If I maintain algebraic sum of all the forces in x direction constant, let us say I maintain it to be 1000. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what does change acceleration? What should I do so that the acceleration changes? I should change mass. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Because ax is equal to summation fx divided by m. If I change the mass for constant value of algebraic sum of all the forces in x direction, acceleration is going to change. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So to change acceleration, to change linear acceleration in x direction, what should I do? I should change mass. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
The moment acceleration in x direction gets changed, do you agree with me that the velocity in x direction is going to get affected, and obviously the position in x direction is going to evolve as a function of time? Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So what changes motion parameter? Motion parameters are typically changed by mass. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is the first answer to the second question? It is mass.
Mass.
Happy. Now let us apply. Of course, I can replace this by summation fy. It will be m into ay. Summation fz equal to m into az. And you can make same comments about ax, ay, and az. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Mass ka direction kaun sa? Mass is independent of direction. It is a scalar quantity. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us try to apply this Newton's second law in rotational motion. We have applied it in rectilinear or translational motion. Do you agree with me? ये हमने पहले भी किया है. To derive equations of equilibrium, we have applied this law as far as translational equilibrium is concerned. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now apply the Newton's second law to a body in rotational motion.
Yes, sir.
How does this Newton's second law manifest itself in rotational motion? So let us say I am considering rotational motion of a body about x-axis passing through a point under consideration. So algebraic sum of moments of, because moment is the cause of rotation, force is a cause of translation. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So algebraic sum of moments of all the forces about x-axis passing through some point under consideration. That point may be on the body or off the body. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
We are trying to find out this unbalanced moment about x-axis due to all the forces passing through a point under consideration. This must be equal to, what should I write? Obviously, this linear acceleration needs to be replaced by rotational acceleration about x-axis passing through the same point. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this point is same as this. So angular acceleration about x-axis, we denote it by standard notation alpha. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this mass should be replaced now by mass moment of inertia. We will discuss this in lab sessions when we do the experiment on this. So this is mass moment of inertia about x-axis through the same point. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the cause of motion in this case, or what is that changes the motion parameter in this case? Not cause of motion, something that changes motion parameter. So for a stationary value of algebraic sum of moments of all the forces about x-axis passing through a point, if this value is constant, let us say it is 2 lakh. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
What is that which changes this angular acceleration? Angular acceleration about x-axis. What will change this angular acceleration? Tell me.
Ix.
So you change Ix. So change in Ix, change in mass moment of inertia about x-axis. This is called as mass moment of inertia. Is going to result in change in angular acceleration about x-axis. So it is going to result in change in angular velocity and change in position. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have answered the second question now in totality. There, Newton's second law can be applied either in translational motion or rotational motion. What affects motion parameters? The two quantities. One is mass, if it is linear motion, and second is mass moment of inertia. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mass moment of inertia. At any point of time, if anyone has any doubt, he or she should unmute and let me know. Mass moment.
Sir,
Yeah.
that I into alpha is for rotational acceleration, right?
Yes. Yes. Was that the doubt?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's what we are writing down this Newton's second law in rotational motion, and earlier we had written it in translational motion. So what affects motion parameters? Mass if it is linear motion, and mass moment of inertia if it is rotational motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us go ahead and answer the third question now. So what are motion parameters? We have written down A or alpha, linear or angular acceleration, velocity v, linear velocity, or angular velocity omega. Are you with me? Omega is angular velocity, v is linear velocity, or position. Position, however, we show it by the same notation. So position, velocity, and acceleration in either linear or rectilinear motion, these are the motion parameters. What does affect it? One, mass, and in second, mass moment of inertia, depending upon whether the motion is linear motion or rotational motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, what is the cause of motion? Is the philosophical question that we should have answered in first place, but that we are asking it at the end. What is the cause of motion? What should cause the motion? Tell me. Unbalanced force. In linear motion, this unbalanced force is a consequence of causing motion of body with mass. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
If there is no unbalanced force, that means acceleration ax is 0 and the body moves with stationary velocity. Are you with me? So
Yes.
either the body will move with stationary velocity or it will be at the rest if summation fx is constant. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So if I want the body to exhibit motion, so एक तो summation fx being constant non-zero is required, then you will have uniform motion. Do you agree with me? Uniform motion का मतलब होता है कि velocity constant रहेगा. See, if summation fx is equal to 0, then you may have uniform motion, but that motion will prevail for eternity. For example, Earth is moving around the sun. Do you experience Earth is moving now when you are sitting at your place? No, right?
No, sir.
Are you with me? So even though we consider that as a motion, we are typically interested in a motion where acceleration prevails. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So though we recognize that as a motion, typically anything that causes acceleration is what we consider as a cause of motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is cause of motion? This summation fx. It can be 0 or it can be positive, but essentially it is the cause of motion. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So therefore, instead of calling it as cause of motion, let us call the cause of change in motion parameters. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
What causes change in motion parameter? Mass and mass moment of inertia. What causes change in motion parameters? Possibly summation fx. Are you with me? Or summation moment of forces about x-axis. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us come. So we have understood these three questions. Now let us come to two branches of dynamics, which are kinetics and kinematics.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, there is, if we consider Newton's second law, we
Mhm.
have one more term, right? When mass changes with time.
Yes.
So then, when you were explaining if force equals ma, to change acceleration, we need to reduce the mass. Then, if we are reducing the mass, then that term should also be considered, right?
No, no, no. No. What I am trying to say is something different. See, you are considering a body with mass 10. Let us consider a vehicle, truck, in which you have filled it with whatever it has to carry. Are you with me? Are you with me? अच्छा, जिसने question पूछा है, please keep yourself unmuted. So let us say empty weight of this vehicle is m. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And when you put all the stuff that it has to carry, the total weight of the truck is m. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So truck, I am observing a truck either with mass small m or with mass capital M. When I am observing the truck which is empty, at that time the mass of the truck is m. At that time I am not going to change this mass in between the period of observation. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So at that time, if I calculate algebraic sum of all the forces acting on this truck, it will be small m into ax. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
For constant value of summation fx, thus you will have value of ax as summation fx divided by small m. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Now I am talking about an independent phenomena, independent observation. When this truck went to wherever it has to go, it collected this that it has to carry, and it is now coming back. And during that time, its mass is now m, capital M. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Okay.
if the summation fx remains constant, then what will be the acceleration of truck while it comes back? It will be summation fx upon capital M. Are these two accelerations different?
Yes, sir.
So I'm not talking about changing this mass during the period of observation. No, I'm just making a statement that if you have to change ax, then probably the mass should vary. Means you are talking about two different phenomena. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Am I clear? Very much clear now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So therefore, now let us talk about two things. One is kinetics, another is kinematics. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is kinetics and what is kinematics is what we are going to define now. Kinetics is a branch of dynamics which deals with the motion by looking at cause of motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Cause of motion and parameters that affect the motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Affecting the motion. So affecting motion parameters. चलो देखो अब मैं कैसे डिफाइन कर रहा हूं. आई एम डिफाइनिंग kinetics is that branch of dynamics which deals with the study of motion, looking at or taking into consideration the cause of motion and parameters affecting the motion parameter. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what does it look at or what does it take into consideration while studying the motion? It considers either mass of object. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Or mass moment of inertia of object, or it considers unbalanced forces, or it considers unbalanced movement. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So any problem that involves either of these four words, are you with me? कोई भी एक word उसमें आ जाए, it is kinetics. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So therefore kinetics is a branch of dynamics that deals with the motion of an object, considering or taking into consideration or looking at its cause and anything that affects the motion parameter. So I'm going to list down those four words. What are those four words? Unbalanced force. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
What is unbalanced force? Algebraic sum of all the forces is unbalanced force in a particular direction. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Or unbalanced moment. Balanced moment. और इन सब के बीच में और है. Any one of these shall appear in the problem statement or in the analysis, and it is the problem in kinetics. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Mass, or fourth, mass moment of inertia. What is the general definition given in books? Books are very vague about this definition. They write it as kinetics is a branch of dynamics that takes into consideration forces and masses. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
तो ये definition को मत देखना. This is very vague definition. What we have to say, kinetics is a branch of dynamics that deals with the motion study by considering cause of motion and or parameters affecting the motion parameter, or the factors that affect the motion parameters. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Factors affecting the motion parameter. Mass moment of inertia. Okay. So can you tell me now what is kinematics then? Go ahead. ये अगर काइनेटिक्स है तो काइनेमैटिक्स क्या होगा? Yes, Apurva.
Sir, kinematics deals with motion parameters then?
Disregarding the cause of motion or factors affecting the motion parameters. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, dynamics or kinematics is a branch of dynamics that deals with the study of motion. Both this branch, they deal with study of motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
But one looks at or one considers the cause of motion or factors affecting the motion parameters. Another disregards them. So disregarding cause of motion and factors affecting the motion parameters. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, look at the irony. The branch that deals with motion parameters doesn't have m in its spelling. Kinetics doesn't have m in its spelling. However, it considers mass. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
However, kinematics is a branch that deals with the motion without considering motion parameters, without considering mass, and it has m in its spelling. So that's how we should remember it. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Kinetics considers mass, kinematics doesn't consider mass. Simple way of remembering. However, philosophical definition is what I have told. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I am going to understand whether you have grasped this or not. I am going to give you few examples and you are going to tell me what kind of problem are we dealing with. Are we in kinetics or are we in kinematics? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me make a statement. Instrument measures the days in which moon revolves around the earth, and it was found that moon revolves around the earth in t amount of hours. What is this? Is it a kinematic or kinetics?
Kinematic.
Kinematic, because we are not talked about what caused the motion of the moon. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
We have not talked about what are the factors that will affect the velocity of moon around the earth. ये कुछ बोला नहीं है. We are simply looking at the time required for moon to complete one revolution around the earth. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let me give you another example. Earth revolves around the sun in 365 days and it revolves around itself in 24 hours. Bolo. Are we in kinetics or are we in kinematics?
Kinematics.
Kinematics. अब जरा देखो next statement. If I half the mass of sun and if I double the mass of earth, earth will take 4 years to rotate around the sun. What is this statement?
Kinetics.
Kinetics. Because now you are looking into the cause of motion and and the factors that are affecting the motion parameters. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, if I halve the mass of the earth, if I halve the mass of the earth, then the object will take twice the time to reach the ground from height h. What kind of statement it is?
Kinetics.
Mind you, these statements are not correct. I have not given the mathematical model, but I am just making this statement. Are you with
Yes,
me?
sir.
Is it kinetics or kinematics?
Kinetics.
Because then you will have to consider as the mass of the earth has become half, the gravitational force of attraction between the two bodies has changed and whatnot. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
He would have changed. So therefore 9.81 के जगह कुछ और होगा. So therefore I think you are now pretty clear about what is kinetics and what is kinematics.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so both the branches, kinetics as well as kinematics, they deal with studying motion parameters. They study motion parameters. दोनों में आपको position, velocity और acceleration evaluate करना पड़ेगा. लेकिन kinematics में you will never be asked to have correlation between acceleration, mass and summation effects. However, in kinetics, you will have to do that. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Having said that, now let us try to define these motion parameters in detail. तो ये position, velocity और acceleration इनको define करने की कोशिश करते हैं. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is position in your opinion? Position at time instant t. Position of an object, position of an body at time instant t. How do you locate the position? Tell me.
Sir, by locating its coordinates in the space?
Yes. So you are dealing with Cartesian coordinate system. Do you
Yes,
agree?
sir.
So what I am going to do, देखो, I am going to consider one point as a origin. Happy? This
Yes,
is a
sir.
reference point. I consider this as origin. Unless you define a reference point in the space, coordinates of other points do not have any meaning. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
What should be this reference point? The problem statement itself will dictate you which point is to be considered as a reference. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is it enough if I choose a reference point? Am I in a position to find out the position of this point in a space? Or let us say object is occupying this position at time t1. At time t equal to t1, the object is located at point r. Let us see. Is it enough to define a reference point, to define the position of the object at time t equal to t1? Because this object may have, this object may have moved along this path. Are you with me? So at all instances of time before T1, it was occupying these positions. At all instances of time after T1, it is occupying these positions. Mind you, each point on this path is not the manifestation of position of object at a given instant of time. ये सारे points एक ही time पे नहीं है. This is the locus of all points which the object was occupying during the period of observation. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, at time t equal to t1, the object is occupying this position. How do you denote this position mathematically? Is it enough to have only reference point?
No, sir.
No. So what do we need?
So we need the Cartesian planes and axis.
Yes. So now intentionally, I'm not going to draw x-axis horizontal. I can have z-axis oriented like this. Let us say x-axis is perpendicular to that. Happy?
Yes, sir.
And y-axis is something like this. So three mutually orthogonal axes is what you need to pass through this reference point. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
ये तीन mutually orthogonal axes है जो आपने इस reference point में से pass किया है. Now, how many triplets of mutually orthogonal axes do pass through a single point under consideration? कितने triplets जा सकते हैं? बोलो. Infinite?
Infinite.
Yes. So you have to freeze on one. You cannot keep on changing it from time to time. No, you have to freeze on one. So to study the motion, first of all, I have chosen a reference point and I have chosen triad of three mutually orthogonal axes. X, Y, Z is what I will call them. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, with if I'm going to locate the position of a point with reference to a reference point and three mutually orthogonal axes passing through it, I call that type of recognition of position as position in Cartesian coordinate system. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
What are the other coordinate systems? You must be aware of spherical coordinate system and cylindrical coordinate system. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So we will deal with them little later, but we are going to have three ways of locating a position. One with reference to a Cartesian coordinate system, another with reference to a spherical coordinate system, and third with reference to a cylindrical coordinate system. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right now we are into Cartesian coordinate system. Now what is it that gives you the position of R? Tell me. In this coordinate system. At time t1. So one of the way of looking at it is position or coordinates x1, y1, z1. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
The coordinates of point R, let us say at time t equal to t1, when the object is at R, are x1, y1, z1. These three coordinates give you the position with reference to a chosen coordinate system. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Unless you have something as reference, you cannot talk about the position. Absolute position ऐसा कुछ है ही नहीं. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us take at time t equal to t2. This object was occupying this position. I will call it by point Q. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And the coordinates of Q will be different in general than x1, x1, y1, and z1. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So I am going to call these coordinates at x2, y2, and z2. So therefore, keeping track of these x, y, z coordinates of a body gives me the idea of position of a body at a given instant of time. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In vectorial notation, what does position represent? बोलो. Vectorial, ये स्केलर नोटेशन में हो गया. Vectorial notation में position को कैसे दिया जाएगा?
Sir, so if we join the origin to that point, that
Yes.
vector,
Yes. So we call this vector as what? We call it as position vector.
position vector.
Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So we are acquainted with these concepts here and there in mathematics. We are trying to now merge all these concepts together to look at a global picture in this context of a physical problem. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we call this as position vector at time t1. How do we denote position vector? We denote it by r bar. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Typically. So can you tell me what is r bar at time instant t1. How do I write it? So to write it, I will have to define 3 unit vectors along x, y, z respectively. I call them as I cap, j cap and k cap. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is I cap, j cap and k cap? I cap, j cap and k cap are unit vectors directed along positive x, positive y and positive z. They have magnitude as unity and therefore they only indicate the direction. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in this I, j cap, and k cap, how do I write r bar? Bolo, at t1. So at
Sir,
t1, where is the object? Object is as position r and it has coordinates x1, y1, z1. What are the coordinates of reference point? 0,
0.
0, 0. If 0 was not invented, we will not be in a position to write this r bar. Please note. So therefore, we call this as 0, 0, 0. And then what are the coordinates of r bar? Tell me.
X1 I cap, Y1 J cap, and
So you
Z1
have
K
to,
cap.
yeah. So this vector r bar is directed from O to R. So you have to subtract coordinates of O from coordinates of R. So it is
R.
x1 I cap. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Plus y1 j cap plus z1 k cap. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
अब जरा आप मुझे बताओ, we are looking at what is a position, but I am trying to give you a global picture. Now tell me, when you look at this expression, in this, what is dependent on time and what is not? Can you tell me in general?
Sir, its position is dependent on time.
No, or for to understand this question, let us also write down position vector at t2. How do I write position vector at t2? Tell me.
So Q bar is equal to X2 I cap plus Y2 J cap.
Q, it's not q bar, it is OQ bar.
Yes, sir.
OQ bar. It is equal to x2 I cap plus y2 j cap, happy,
Yes,
plus
sir.
z2 k cap. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in general, at time instant t, so let me consider a time instant t. What is the position vector? So let me say the coordinates are xt, yt and zt. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is r bar? What is position vector at time instant t in general? Tell me.
XT
xt
I
I
cap
cap plus yt
YT J cap.
j cap and third
ZT K cap.
zt k cap. अब जरा आप मुझे ये पोजीशन देख के बताओ, इस एक्सप्रेशन में व्हाट इज फंक्शन ऑफ टाइम एंड व्हाट इज नॉट? Is xt a function of time?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I will call it as f1 of t, some function. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Is yt a function of time?
Yes, sir.
Should I call it as f1 of t? No, that is different function. Why
F2
you
of
are
t.
in a different way? So I will call it as f2 of t. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Is zt a function of time?
Yes, sir.
f3 of t. Now tell me, is I cap a function of time?
No, sir.
No. So I cap is not a function of time. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
A function of time. Similarly, j cap is not a function of time. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
And k cap is not a function of time. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So this coordinate system that we have chosen is called as stationary coordinate system. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Stationary. So wherever the object goes, my reference point will remain there. My axis will remain there. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Stationary coordinate system. We are looking at position, but in stationary coordinate system. Happy?
Yes, sir.
And now imagine I mount my coordinate system on the object itself. So object becomes the position of object at time instant t becomes the reference point. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So at time t equal to t, This is the reference point at time t equal to t1. This is the reference point at time t equal to t2. This becomes the reference point. And tangent drawn to this curve, let us say, I denote it as one axis. Another axis is perpendicular to it, and third axis is perpendicular to both of this. So now, can you tell me, if I define unit vectors along these three axes, will they remain unchanged as the object moves, or will they change?
So they might change.
They will change because it is traveling along a curved path. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So whenever I take the reference point as the position of object at time instant t itself, and then I define somehow three mutually orthogonal axes, the unit vectors in those directions are susceptible to change with time because the object is following different trajectory in the neighborhood of that point at different times. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that coordinate system, we will call it as moving coordinate system. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So right now, when I define a position, which coordinate system am I concerned with? Stationary coordinate system. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
One of the approach is called as Eulerian approach. Another one is called as Lagrangian approach. We will look at that little later. We are going to also deal with this coordinate system, but little later. Right now, we are talking about a stationary coordinate system. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So in that, have I defined without any ambiguity? How do we define a position?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, let us boil this down to a rectilinear motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
This motion was along a curved path, and it was not restrained in one plane. Do you agree with me? Or along the one line. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So it had all the position at any instant of time will have three components: along x, along y, and along z. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Now let us look at rectilinear motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is rectilinear motion? By definition, if the object during the period of observation is observed to move along a straight line. देखो मैं कैसे define कर रहा हूँ. Rectilinear motion during the period of observation, if the object is observed to move along a straight line, it need not necessarily be along x, y, z. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Then we call that motion as rectilinear motion. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Clear definition. अब जरा देखो, I am showing you the path of motion of an object. Are you with me? This is the path. Happy?
Yes, sir.
At time t1, the object was occupying this position. Happy?
Yes, sir.
At time t2, object was occupying this position. At time t3, the object was occupying this position. Happy?
Yes, sir.
At time t4, it was occupying this position. And at time t5, it was occupying this position. Observer observed the motion of a particle from time instant t1 to t2. Is it rectilinear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Observer observed the motion from t1 to t3. Is it rectilinear?
No, sir.
No. Observer observed the motion from t4 to t5. Is it rectilinear?
Yes.
Yes. So have you understood what I am trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Rectilinear motion is a motion that occurs along the straight line in the observation period. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
None of the motion, we cannot say about the type of motion before the start of observation period and after the observation period. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if this is in your mind, now let me tell you how do we define position in a rectilinear motion. So let us say only t1 to t2 is our observation period. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
This is observation period. Now, how do you define the position? So during time interval t1 to t2, the object did move along this line. So there is no point in calling this direction as x. Instead, if you align your x along this direction itself, then you will be able to locate the position of object by specifying merely one coordinate. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, in rectilinear motion, we always orient one of the axis or one of the reference axis along the motion direction itself, and we require only a reference point and that one axis. That is enough to define the position. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, अब जरा यहाँ पे ध्यान दो. I have defined x direction along the motion. That's for sure in the observable period. However, where is my origin? Origin I can define, or reference point I can define anywhere along this line. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Even I can extend this line to infinity on this side and to infinity on other side. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Anywhere along this line, I can choose my reference. I can choose my reference here. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So this distance is x1, and if this distance is x2, can you tell me what is the position of the object in rectilinear motion at time t1? It is plus x1. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Because I have said x towards this is positive, and with reference to a reference point along this line, the object was occupying this position at x1 with towards the positive x direction at time t1. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, what is the position of object at time t2? Plus x2.
Yes, sir.
Happy? Now same motion I am going to observe now between t1 to t2. Same motion, rectilinear motion. X is also positive in this direction. However, I changed my reference point. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now imagine my reference point is here, and I'm going to call this distance as x3, and I'm going to call this distance as x4. Can you tell me what is this? Is at time t1, this is at time t2. So what is the position of object at time t1 now with reference to this as a reference point?
Minus x3.
Yes, very good. So it is in, so to reach that point at t1, reach that position of an object at time t1, you have to travel towards the negative x direction with reference to a chosen reference point. So it is minus x3. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And what is the position at time t2? Plus x4.
Positive x4.
So what is your observation? But in this process, I have demonstrated to you that the position may change in magnitude and the sign, provided you change the reference point. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, position in rectilinear motion is sensitive to a reference point, choice of reference point. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Not only in sign, but also in magnitude. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, when is the position negative in rectilinear motion? जब रेफरेंस पॉइंट के रिस्पेक्ट से जिस डायरेक्शन को आपने पॉजिटिव बोला है उसके अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में अगर आपको जाना पड़े तो पोजीशन नेगेटिव हो जाता है. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise it is positive. Now though it is a vector quantity, in rectilinear motion it becomes a scalar quantity. It can be represented as a scalar quantity because the sign will take care of the direction. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So plus or minus sign will indicate where the object is, what is the direction of object at that instant of time. So therefore, when it reduces to rectilinear motion, we can handle the direction merely by positive or negative sign. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we have defined position in absolute sense. I mean position when the object is traveling along a 3D path. We have also defined a position in rectilinear motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And we also saw when the position is positive and when the position is negative. I will add to this. Imagine that you are considering the same situation. You are considering the same reference point, but you choose to call this x as positive. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what will be the change now? What is the position at time t1? It will be plus x3.
Positive x3.
Are you with me?
Yes,
And
sir.
what is the position at time t2?
Minus x4.
Okay. So if you have understood, सारा नजरिए का खेल है. आप जो रेफरेंस पॉइंट लेते हो और जो पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव एक्स को बोलते हो उसके हिसाब से you have to write down the sign. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now enough on this position. Now let us go venture into something called as velocity. Next motion parameter. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Velocity at time instant t. Now tell me, how will you compute the velocity? तो इसके लिए मैं आपको दो एग्जांपल्स देने वाला हूँ. And now we will not talk about the 3D case. Anyway, it is true for 3D case, whatever I say, but we will talk only about the rectilinear motion first. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So a particle or a body is exhibiting rectilinear motion, and I want to talk about its velocity. Not that I cannot do it for 3D position, you can do it, but as we are going to deal with rectilinear motion as a first topic in kinematics, therefore I will now restrict my discussion only to rectilinear motion. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When we go to curvilinear motions or 2D motions, at that time we will discuss this parameter once again. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So right now, let us imagine that at time instant t1, the particle was occupying this position and the object occupied this position at time t equal to t2. This is my reference point. Just give me a second. This is my reference point. Happy?
Yes, sir.
And let us call this distance as x3. Let us call this distance as x4, as we are doing. And this is the direction of motion. This is the direction of motion, and this is x positive. And at time t1, the object was here. At time t2, the object was here. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me how much is the distance traveled by an object during this time? x3 plus x4?
Yes, sir.
तो देखो अब मैं क्या लिख रहा हूं. I am not writing position, mind you. I am writing distance traveled. See?
Yes, sir.
Distance traveled. कहां से कहां तक बोलो?
From T1 to T2.
From T1 to T2. Happy?
Yes, sir.
And how much is that distance? Tell me. x3 plus x4. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
And what is the time it took to travel this distance?
T2 minus T1.
Yes, it took time t2 minus t1. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So now distance traveled divided by t2 minus t1. अगर ये मैं करता हूं तो हमें एक तरीके की वेलोसिटी मिलती है, but it doesn't mean that the object must have traveled with this velocity uniformly as it travels x3 plus x4. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
ये भी हो सकता है कि it was traveling with a higher speed for some time then with a lower speed, so that on an average the velocity has turned out to be x3 plus x4 upon t2 minus t4, t1 minus t2, t2 minus t1. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
t2 minus t1. So what is this? This is average velocity. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is the average velocity exhibited by the object during time t1 to t2? x3 plus x4 upon t2 minus t1. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Now we are going to now talk about something called as instantaneous velocity. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Instantaneous velocity. This is the reference point. Reference point I am going to call it as O. What is instantaneous velocity? Now within this observation period, let us say at time t star or time t, and at time t plus delta, I observe the position of the body. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
तो क्या कर रहा हूं मैं? I have considered two instances of time within the period of observation, t equal to t and t equal to t plus delta. Happy?
Yes, sir.
And let me say the position at time t is xt. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
It is positive because I have assumed it to be towards right. And at position at time t plus delta is xt plus delta. Happy?
Yes, sir.
How do we define instantaneous velocity? तो देखो कैसे define करते हैं. V instantaneous is defined as limit as delta t tends to 0. That means we are considering neighboring instances. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Position at time t plus delta t minus position at time t divided by delta t. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, so by mathematical definition, this st plus delta t is xt plus delta t, and this st is xt. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
By mathematically, what is this quantity? Limit as delta t tends to 0, s of t plus delta t minus s of t upon delta t. Is it ds by dt?
Yes, sir.
Mathematically, this is nothing but the differentiation of s with reference to time, differentiation of position with reference to time. So what is instantaneous velocity? Instantaneous velocity is nothing but differentiation of position with reference to time. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now more about it in next class. Next class में हम इसके बारे में और देखेंगे चीजें. However, before closing the today's class, I had to tell you some point. I forgot it. I have got blank. 1 minute. Just give me a second. No, I have forgotten it. Okay, in next class. Let us look at it in next class. But have you understood what is position?
Yes, sir.
Position at given instant of time, and we have also understood velocity at given instant of time. That is also called as instantaneous velocity as a differentiation of s with reference to time. Happy?
Yes, sir.
In tomorrow's class, we are going to look at when is the yeah, I remember that point. So let us finish that and then we will stop for today. What do you understand by t equal to 0 in context of dynamics? Can you tell me? What is t equal to 0?
Sir, is it?
Starting point.
Yeah, the
Starting of
point.
what?
So starting point of the observation.
Very good. Unfortunately, many of us understand it as a starting point of motion, but that is not true, because it would have been true. Then you will never be able to comment on the motion of planets. You were not there when it started. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So what is t equal to 0? It is the time at which observer starts observing the motion. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Motion would have started or commenced before t equal to 0, or it may not have. We don't know. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, whenever you get something as t equal to negative, you are going to discard that root. Is to be discarded. Why do we discard it? Not because the time cannot be negative. No, that is not the reason. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
The reason, what is the reason? The reason is it talks about the instant prior to the observation being made. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So when observer was not observing, what is the fun? What can you say about the motion parameters? Nothing. So therefore, anything that we get for t negative, we discard it, because it talks about the instant prior to observation being started. Happy?
Yes, sir.
So t equal to 0 is time at which? Time when observer starts observing the motion. And clearly, it is not the time at which the motion has begun. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
It may happen so that these two times fall on the same instant. That is okay. But in general, the time when observer starts the observing did not necessarily be the time when the motion has commenced. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with this, we are going to close for today. You can mark your attendance in the same link. If anyone has any doubt, you can ask me now.